Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's YT, back with another video. I appreciate you for clicking on this, tuning in. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and smash the subscribe button so you be, added to the family. We love to see you here, man. We a community. I need every single person watching to like this video so YouTube can push this content out and ring the post notification bell if you haven't already. Capitalism. Are you tired of it? Well, you are not alone.
Here's my problem with capitalism. The fact that a group of people become powerful and rich because they've exploited others, and they can exploit others and pay them low wages, and or steal through contracts. That is my problem with capitalism. And as long as the system exists this way, where we exploit others for our own personal gain, we're not going to have a righteous and godly society. It just is what it is. And to those who exploit other people for their gain, you are actually a weak human being. You are weak. Because a real, strong, fair human being will do business and collaborate and make sure everybody's justly compensated more than for the work that they put in. So a lot of y'all are looking up to people who you deem as rich, successful, and strong, and self-made and talented, but they're really just exploiters. Weak exploiters.
I said this on the last video. A lot of bosses are narcissists, covert narcissists. There's a saying, I really can't pinpoint it right now. I'm sick, I can't think of it. But it's basically a saying in the business world. A lot of them get ahead by, stealing, by finessing people for real. That's a real thing. They get ahead by by getting over on others to get the money to start up their business a lot of the time. Or within their business, they might scheme people. You've been schemed by a business before, multi-million-dollar business, billion-dollar business, and they got over on you. This is a real thing. They get over on their employees. This is a real thing. It's a cutthroat world for real. The business world is real cutthroat. It really is.
Whoever made up the term of the meritocracy has like screws loose up there. That shit is definitely not real, so let me explain. A meritocracy is a system in which everyone's rewards are based on their merits. AKA, you earn what you get in society, and your position is specifically based on what you have done and contributed. Which would also mean if you're poor, well, that's on you. If you're rich, you earn that. Congratulations. So, yeah. I hope you're starting to see how stupid that sounds. The most obvious contention with this point is that there cannot be rich people without poor people. Like, they both need each other to exist. Every ultra-capitalist needs workers to work for them to create their products. Every ultra-capitalist also needs people poor enough to buy their stuff. It's a parasitic relationship. Like, you're not going to be able to have people at a higher class if there's no lower class. That would just be a class. 2, generational wealth exists. Some people simply just do not have to work a day in their life because of the generations upon generations of exploitation that preceded them. Not only are there less opportunities in the lower class to excel up the corporate ladder, but you cannot tell me that someone who's working 12 hours a day in a mine is not doing as much, if not more work than Kim Kardashian. I'm not saying we live in like a caste system. Of course, there are some ways to move up, but it is extremely hard. 2 people of different races, genders, classes can be doing the same amount of work at the same time, and one can be excelling way faster than the other. The point of this lie is to make us as a society believe that this lifestyle of working for our food and to survive is normal. Oh, you're poor? Well, just work harder. Everyone else did it, so you should do it too. There is nothing equal about capitalism. The whole point is inequality. Hope that helps.
The problem is capitalism. The problem is the exploitation of the working class. The problem is that the system has been set up so that you can work and work and work for hours and days and weeks and months and years on end and not see any gain or any benefit from it. Your work doesn't benefit you, it benefits the people that you're working for. The problem is that the people in power and the people who make the laws are having their pockets filled by companies and corporations so that they do exactly as they're told. The problem is that we live in a sociopathic economic system where some people are deemed more valuable than others, and if you don't have any economic value, then you deserve nothing. You don't get health care, you don't get housing, you don't get your basic human rights respected or protected. All you get is exploited for all the money that they can get out of you, and then you die. We need to dismantle the system that treats us like we're only valuable if we can help make rich people richer while we ourselves are struggling to even survive. This is a system that is trying to take away our human rights. It is our duty to overthrow the system and replace it with one that values human life over profit. It is our duty to get rid of the people that allowed this system to continue.
Yeah, I hear you. That sounds good, but that's easier said than done. We talking about a system that has been like this from the beginning of time. Ever since they stole the land, this been the plan. And slowly but surely, every single year, they've been getting closer and closer. We at the end game right now, y'all. This the last days. These are the last days. The system won't change due to us. It'll be changed due to the Most High, the world in general. It's actually already begun, right? So we're living through the transition. Everything's about to change, most definitely. Even the monetary system is about to change indefinitely, right? For better or for worse, depending which side you're on, depending which way you play it, CBDC versus crypto. And we can go into a whole discussion of that, but choose crypto. I'm going to just leave it off right there. So we've got the opportunity right now to be a part of something that's emerging, that's about to change the whole world. And it can change your whole life and your whole family's lives from generation to generation. Depending what you do right now will determine where you will be and where your family will be in the future. Only 97% of people, and I say only, that's sarcasm. 97% of people will be broke forever. We're living through the great reset, the transfer of wealth. I hope y'all ready.
We're moving into an era in late stage capitalism where employment is going to start to become a privilege. I'm sure y'all have seen videos about that MTA job fair and how it wasn't really a job fair. It was just a waste of employees' times or potential employees' times, right? Now, this could be big corporations push back to the quiet quitting movement, people choosing to get unemployment over actually having employment during COVID. Now that we're going to start seeing warrants rolled out for people who participated in PPP fraud. But this is also like a checkmate for the employee, a rise in strikes. This is their way of saying, all right, well, you want us to change our practices, you want us to change our ways, how about we just don't get you a job, and then you suffer, and if you can't afford unemployment, or you're not approved for unemployment, you don't have any checks coming in, you end up homeless, which is now illegal, and we also have the robots on the way to do your job anyway. Now, they've already game set matched most of Americans' mentalities when it comes to being hyper individualistic. As long as I'm doing good, everybody else's problem is their fucking problem. But as we see employment become more and more of a privilege, or it's harder to find gainful employment, or it's harder to find employment in which your skill set lies in, then community is going to start to become more and more important. Hard skills are going to start to become more and more important in community. And what that looks like to me is the plumber that lives next door, you holler at him when you have a plumbing issue instead of, because you can't afford a $1,500 or $2,000 problem unless it's absolutely necessary. If he can come over and help you out, he'll come help you out. Same thing with the HVAC guy, same thing with the electrician. It's going to come to a point where we're going to have to start trading our skills with each other. Real community is if you have a pickup truck, help me move. And I could feed you. Like, that's how I grew up. Like, now everything is about the individual, and how does this benefit me? If it doesn't benefit me, or it only benefits you, then I can't do it. Nobody's willing to go out their way for anybody anymore. And kind gestures are not as appreciated. But as employment becomes more and more of a privilege, we're going to start thinking about each other in the aspect of, like, we're doing this thing together. Okay, if you miss 2 checks and that's going to put you at risk for eviction, then you're not really better than anybody. You just have the privilege of employment. if I could put that in perspective for you. You have to remember that the idea of capitalism that lives in America, our ideals around capitalism is slavery. That is the foundation of what this country was built off of. And just because you want to ignore black people when they talk about reparations, and just because you want to ignore the experiences of black people we endured during slavery, and why do we have to tie everything back to slavery? Because everything does tie back to slavery, and because that is what their idea is headed towards. Look at how y'all discuss robots. A lot of y'all want nothing more than to own somebody. Now, it's not ethically moral to own slaves in human form, so now we'll take them in the form of a robot. This is deeply entrenched in the American psyche, right? And wage stuff being about $20 billion a year. They're trying everything to do that they can to work you to the bone without having to pay you for it. So, if I have to lock you up in order to make that a possibility, I'm willing to do it. And you just like, we get really confused when we start operating in these binaries about red and blue and left and right and things like that, when we're only focused on like our team, our ideology as individuals, and not what's better for the community, and not what's better for the American people as a whole. Because the thing is just American is just a deeply selfish person that has aspirations to be in the top 1% so they can then oppress others. That's you.
And that video right there is from 2022. Y'all heard him say employment will become a privilege. And what happened this year, y'all? What has this channel been mainly about? How hard it is for people to get a job, how people quit their job and haven't been hired since, how people have went to college and got multiple degrees, but still have been unemployed for 1 year or 2 years. He was right on the money.
I'm so tired of having to participate in capitalism. It is literally ruining my life, and not even in a way that it's like, oh, a pity party, or you can't just figure out how to make money. Or no, figuring out how to make money is not the problem. It's the chunk of my life and chunk of my brain space and chunk of my heart that I could otherwise be dedicating to other things that I have to think about, how am I going to make money? How am I going to sustain? It's miserable. Because if you have a 9 to 5, right? I love 9 to 5s. I will never talk bad about 9 to 5s. You have a 9 to 5, right? That's 9 to 5. That is 8 hours out of your day. And then before the 9 to 5, you have to prepare for the 9 to 5. And then after the 5, you're too tired to do your own life. You got 1 day, because Friday you left work. That's not the fucking weekend. I don't care what anybody says. And then Sunday, you spend all day prepping for Monday. You get 1 day out of your fun. Stop that. Stop. Hey, stop, son. You itchy? Okay, anyway, hold on. Like I was saying, you get 1 day out of your fucking week to take care of yourself. And then everybody's like, oh, you got to be an entrepreneur. You got to invest. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, 1. And number 2, being an entrepreneur ain't that much fucking easier. It's not that much easier, because I know entrepreneurs that go months without making money. I know business owners that go years, calendar years, without turning a fucking profit. That shit is difficult. It ruins your life. It ruins your self-esteem. Trying to figure out like, oh, did I even do the right thing? Did I just fuck off all my money? Did I just fuck off all my time? Did I just disappoint people who invested in me and believed in me and dedicated time? And then people are like, oh, well, with content creation, like, oh, you just got to be consistent. You just got to be consistent. You just got to be consistent. That ain't the same for everybody. Depending on what kind of content you make. It's been months where I've made buku dollars, and it's been months where I've made no dollars. Why? Because none of this shit is constant. But you know what's constant? These fucking bills. You know what's constant? Oh, I gotta worry. Well, I don't worry about student loans because I'm not gonna pay them. But some people have to worry about student loans. I have to worry about family members that need things. I have to worry about taking care of this dog that's in my home. I have to worry about the fact that nothing seems to be going down price-wise. Groceries don't seem to be going down. Rent is out of control. Rent is like 30% of my income. I wish I had this income now in like 2016 when I was in my early 20s, and everything was, my rent was like $700. My rent was like $800 maybe. It's all too much. And you have these conversations and you get people in the comments that are super disingenuous, like, I found the key to making money and I'm so happy because I found the key. But then when people become rich, they become well off. All they fucking talk about is money, and you're not even a whole person anymore. You're not even a whole person because your whole identity is having money and having one capitalism. And I don't want to be that either. I don't want to be a person that now all I talk about is generational wealth and black excellence and money, money, money. And this is how I did my stocks, and this is my EFTs and my Bitcoin. And it's all too much. I just want to go on vacation. I just want to sleep on the beach. And all my time is dedicated to think about money. I'm sorry, I had to get that off. I just hate.
I don't think TikTok doing it for her. We gonna have to get her somebody to talk to.
I'm so fucking sick of seeing people blame other people for not having community and saying that, oh, it's because they are introverted or they don't go outside or they choose this life for themselves. It is entirely a result of the government. You don't have community anymore because everyone has social anxiety nowadays. You have never had a critical thought in your life. You should naturally be around your community on a day-to-day basis without even trying, without even having to. Because they built every city around cars and not for humans, you don't see another person on your day-to-day basis. This kind of infrastructure forces us to spend money anytime we want to go anywhere, while also keeping us isolated from each other, and that is by design. So now you don't see people in passing when you're on your way to the grocery store or when you're taking the train home from work. Whereas if you were in a walkable city, you would have more of a community feel and you would actually see people in your community on a day-to-day basis. They took away all of our third places and then made it to where just hanging out outside, not spending money, is a crime of loitering. So that now, anytime we do hang out, we have to be spending money to do it. Not only that, but forcing everyone to work 40 hours a week and literally taking up their entire day from them. Like, if you think about it, a 9 to 5, that is the entire day. You get home at 5:30, 6, and then you have 3 hours to eat dinner, go to the gym, shower, get ready for the next day. You have no time for any of your own personal fulfillment or hanging out with your friends. They don't give you time for that. They don't care about that. They just want to extract your labor value. Also, the government go in decades trying to convince us that individualism is the way to go and that every single one of us needs our own house, our own microwave, our own refrigerator, our own space, or else we are literally failures. Let's bring back sharing, because I want to be in a community where my neighbor feels happy to come over and ask me for a little bit of sugar. Or if one of my roommates really needs me to come pick her up from the airport. We were all sold the lie that independence and individualism is what we should be doing and is going to make us happiest, when we are all now begging and desperately desiring for that community again. Most of the struggles that you have in life are caused by the systems that are put in place by our government. But ironically, instead of having compassion and consideration and community building skills, you decide to point the finger at a fellow person just like you who's probably experiencing most of the same struggles that you are too.
Yeah, I mean, the government played their fair share in making the world weird. Yeah, we're headed towards a dystopian reality. Yeah, people don't really talk to their neighbors anymore. Remember back in the day, people used to know their whole block? Remember, we used to know the whole block, all of the kids, everything. Everybody knew everybody. The other moms would beat you just like they is your mom. They'd give you a whooping just like it's your mama. That grandma next door give you a whooping like it's your grandma. That don't happen no more. That don't exist no more. That's not a thing no more. Yeah, I mean, people are working so much to where they had no free time. I remember I was at my cousin's anniversary and her husband was like, yeah, you know, the average person with a family has no free time. And when I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? He right. He is right. So that's why the family aspect has died out. You know, you don't really see family like you used to. They don't really come around like they used to. I know me, ever since my granny on my mom's side and my grandpa on my pop's side, since they both passed away the same year, the family never been the same. And all of this was done by design, breaking down the family unit, you know, making it to where people don't talk to one another no more. Just like during C-19, it was almost illegal for us to communicate with one another, to be in each other's presence. So it was all done by design for, like I said, this plan that they got. They've been working on it for a long time, and it's almost time to roll it out. And I feel like under this next presidency, it will be rolled out. It will be. Capitalism, man, it's a crazy thing, but this is a thing. Let me know what y'all think about capitalism. Drop a comment below. Appreciate y'all watching.